having fun yet?
Look at all the fun in front of us.
Oh yeah, it's been hours of this. We're almost there. I'm still driving. Are you excited? That's a very okay. That's an extreme amount of excitement. I see the Jeep.
It's right there. You might want to pull over.
It's right there.
To the right.
I'm pulling over.
On the right.
There's the Jeep.
It's a Jeep.
Look at it.
It's got two lights.
There it is.
They're right there.
Looks like the emergency brakes work. There it is. It is a heap. 89 Jeep Wrangler. Yeah, buddy. Nice. All right. Picked up this Jeep, but it's not running. Me suspects the fuel sender. It seemed to be the issue when we were picking it up. We had to go down to Louisiana and snag on it. And battery's dead, but I'm gonna put my battery charger on there for a while and set it to, oh my God, and then turn the key and see if lights come on and whatnot. So I got me a battery in here. It's a marine battery. Post barely fit, but it's in here. I just needed something with the right cold cranking amps. So I got that hooked up. Took me a while to find one that was affordable. And let's see, got the key. Oh my goodness. Well, that's good. Left turn signal. Left and right turn signal. There we go. Stereo's trying to do stuff. Gear. Oh yeah. Wheels turning. On to the next step. We gotta figure out this fuel pump. So I got the new fuel sender in. Happy to have a nice Summit box waiting for me this morning. It was in there. Also picked myself up a gas cap, locking gas cap. So I don't know if you can tell. This is the one that came out of it. This is the one I'm putting in. No pump. And there's a pump on this one. So this was the one for if you had it carbureted in a mechanical fuel pump, just a fuel level sender. This Jeep is TBI, so it had to have the in-tank pump. So I got the fuel tank out. Not too difficult. So it sits in this skid plate pan thing here. There's just 4 bolts on this side, 4 bolts on that side, and a strap over the top. So I got it out and I've taped off the hole here so I can get this cleaned off a little bit. And some of these hoses were kind of crusty. So I'm gonna run to O'Reilly's and pick up some new vent hoses and such. I think the fill hoses look okay. They seem to be fairly pliable. I don't see any cracks or anything. I just don't, yeah, those are fine. It's just the vent hoses. Also, this vent check valve has seen better days. That's horrible. I'll figure it out. So I got all the lines hooked up. This is your filler neck. This is a vent hose. That's not the correct one, but that's the one that was in it. It'll have to do. Here is from the fuel pump. And this is the return line. I got red for send, blue for return. I don't know. That just made sense to me. This is weird, but this is how it was put together before. The vent lines, they were tied together and then just run to this T and then plugged into a vent up in the fender. So I'm gonna try that, but I got the new sender in. So put it in that guy, get the strap put back in, and then try to get it, you know, back under there. So, wish me luck. Well, see, it's running. Muffler is bad. Injector is injecting. Just a little bit of smoke. I got the battery battery cables. Ooh, it's loud. But it's got an absolute crap ton of oil pressure. So that's good. Temperature's coming up. I'll shut her down in a second. I don't know what the radio's doing. Okay, so it definitely needs a muffler, but the smoke is clear enough. So that's good. Fan's running. Other than the muffler, it doesn't sound too bad. I don't hear anything crazy anyway. It'd be a lot better if I could hear over the muffler, but whatever. Temperature is holding steady. Ain't fuel, whatever. And let's see, oil pressure's good, just about 40. And the battery's charging, so alternator's working. Sweet. Alright. Yeah. So I turned it off and pulled out the key. And well, guess I'll go disconnect the battery. Also disconnect the battery. Still won't turn off. A little sunk here. And I know.
Why are you doing this?
I just felt like running.
Well, that was something. I had to pull the coil plug for it to stop. It's all I could think of right now. That was okay. So I can figure that part out. That's well, at least it runs. Fixing the Jeep, 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 fixing the Jeep. Oh. The patented HalfWitLabs water collection system. Probably not drinkable.
Might be lickable though.
You want to try?
No.
Okay.
Maybe next time.
This ought to be fun. I've been pulling pieces and parts off, trying to figure out where there's rust and or not rust. That tire's down. That one's down a little bit. So there's just a bunch of random parts back there. But as you can see, it originally was white. And a previous person who had this before me spray painted over the white paint.
We call them PP. Previous person.
With cheap rattle can bed liner spray. So I tried to sand some off back here.
That's real.
And I went through about...
Where?
Behind the spare tire.
Oh.
I went through about 4 flappy discs just to get enough paint off to put the spare tire carrier back on. And I was like, this is gonna have to be chemically removed or something. And fortunately, also the plastic was painted, so.
I like that the wheel's just as dirty and beat up as the other one.
It'll polish up.
It's classic, man.
It'll polish right up. As long as it holds a bead, I don't care.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I guess we're gonna get to some disassembly. So right here is where I found some rust, which makes sense because this is where you get water intrusion into the cab through here. But this is under here is where I found, you can see how that's trying to come through the dash panel.
Have you tried just getting a big Torx thing and just popping those off?
Yeah, they needed some
convincing?
Yeah. I know what you're thinking.
Okay. I just haven't been here.
This Jeep is in rough shape. It's been coated in bed liner. It's got some rust. It needs almost every plastic and rubber piece replaced. This is dry rotting a bit, or a lot.
I don't think it's dry rotting. I think it's just dry rot Ed.
There it is. The thing about this Jeep, though, is it's got a heck of a background story. Most people would probably just say, what are you doing?
I think they say that anyway.
Part it out. Scrap it. I get it. If I had no attachment to this Jeep whatsoever, that would make sense. This Jeep...
like this rust, he's attached.
This Jeep has been in my family since the early 90s. Just about every kid in my family has driven it. I learned to drive stick in it. My sister learned to drive stick in it. My brother drove it in college and when he was in the Marine Corps. My dad drove it. My stepsister and her husband have had it for a bit.
Has it ever been in mud?
Probably.
So did anybody call you a stick in the mud? I'm gonna look for Torx. I don't know where that
But now I have it back, so I'm gonna make it right. I'm gonna fix it up and make it right. Okay, so after folding the windshield forward and just snapping the old hinges off,
Well, one of them.
essentially, it's this dash panel that is mostly rusted. It looks like the top of this body tub is still pretty solid. So that's good news. We can get this windshield, this old cracked, nasty windshield rubber off as soon as we get these other bolts off and get this dash off and figure out what else is going on down here. There's definitely been, yeah, the top of this dash panel is just gone, but there's definitely some rust happening. I think we can deal with it.